What's up, Chad? What's going on, y'all? It is showtime. That's right. Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you here today. Thanks for joining. Let me turn this down. I'm getting a little bit of feedback from my other device. There we go.
Yeah, kind of let us know what you're hearing. If it's too loud, sounds good. This is the first time we're going live. We can control that stuff more on a recorded version, but when we're doing this live, we're playing it by the seat of our pants,
Yeah, first time, always got a little bit of kinks it's got to work out, but I think first time it's going pretty good so far.
Where the comments come up.
All right, yeah, so we got some, I want to tell them, but we got some comments over here on the iPad going and on the computer there.
All right, can you pull that a little closer?
Yeah.
What's up, Gina?
Eric's a little old, so he needs things a little closer to him.
Yeah, my vision ain't what it used to be. That's for damn sure.
Let's see here. We got, sounds good. Hey, Gina, thank you.
It does sound good. It's we turned the reverb down from last time, which should help. When Elon flew those people into space, where did they really go? This side of the stratosphere? No, seriously.
I don't know who he flew into space.
They can't get through the Van Allen belt. That is supposedly, seriously, like 4,500 degrees. It would melt any steel or anything we have. So they like to say that it wouldn't because there's not enough particles to transfer the heat, but I call bullshit. They just send those things. They fly in an arc. If you've ever noticed, they never go straight up. They always go in an arc. They follow the curvature of the dome.
Yeah, you can't get out.
You can't. We call closed system, man. Closed system.
And you ever look when the SpaceX rockets, when they get up there and you see that nice little spray up in the sky, they say it's dragging across the firmament because it can't get out.
That was the one that Elon did, wasn't it? Where it looked like it was.
Yeah, all his rockets get up there too high.
It was beautiful, actually. I mean, it was pretty neat, but yeah, they don't. Even the Polish cosmonaut and Russian cosmonaut has said that we haven't been to space. And they were interviewed, and somebody asked them, "Is the Earth round or flat?" And the cosmonaut kind of looked at him. He was a Polish dude, and he was like, "Well, all I see is flat," And he said, "I didn't expect that question." Yeah,
true.
That's what he said.
Let's see. We got Adam. We should be able to visit Antarctica. You're right. I agree. I think it's kind of odd that Antarctica is one of the only places that we're not able to freely visit. Makes you kind of wonder why everything beyond the 60th parallel is so guarded. I don't know. It's the only place in the known world where you have all the countries band together and actually protect something for once.
Yeah, and nobody owns it.
No.
So there's 50 nations able to agree that it's not a good idea for people to be able to explore that. And for whatever reason, I believe there's more land, is what I believe. It was Richard Byrd said it. E.W. Barrington said it. These people that actually got in boats and found a passageway through it. So, yeah, man, it's there's no reason for 50 countries and militaries to all get together on ice and penguins. Who gives a fuck about the ice and penguins, man? They don't care.
No, they don't. No, man, I don't know. And it almost makes you think, too, like the more you research into this stuff, it's called the Arctic Circle for a reason. And it's because it's not, they claim it's not actually a continent. It's ever changing. The Arctic Circle will always be the Arctic Circle.
Well, there is that old 1500s map that shows Antarctica with no ice, in the shape of what it looks like on a globe. It was really weird. Mm-hmm. But who's to say now? Who's to say that both can exist?
It's true.
You could have an ice continent out there before you get to the ice wall. You could have, who knows? We don't know because we're not allowed to go past a certain point freely, And
no, you can't.
This Arctic race, I shared a video kind of explaining it. They never get within hundreds of miles of Antarctica. They go around the ocean, but you would never even see it.
But don't they cut out the part where Antarctica is on the wrong side of their race?
I heard that. One guy did say that it was on the wrong side of the boat. So that's why it's hard to find some of those pictures.
Yeah.
But
we gotta cut. We gotta cut the feed. I think we're done. It's over. Oh gosh, oh man, y'all are lighting up the comments. That's awesome.
was having tech problems. What were you seeing? Alcoholic, what's your name? David, Jim, so I don't have to say alcoholic. Hey, what's up, Joe? Thanks for coming, man.
What's
Chad.
up? Let's see what we got here.
The real scrub dude. Scrubba dude? Some of the names.
Scuba dude.
Scuba.
Scuba.
See, I need glasses.
His name is Steve. It's got to be.
Scuba Steve.
Yeah. Oh man, let's see what we got. We got talking about the Bidens. Well, we're trying to keep the politics out of this as much as possible right now. But
yeah, we went politics on the live right before this on TikTok, and man, it was going to get banned immediately. So today we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Let's not talk about politics just today. We're not saying we won't ever, but we're trying to talk about lost civilizations, talking about lies of history, talking about Tartaria, talk about flat Earth, true Earth, talk about no space, these kind of things.
How can I learn more about what you guys are talking about? Man, I would say
books.
Yeah, books. My biggest thing actually started on YouTube, believe it or not. There's actually a great documentary that you turned me to. What was it called?
It's called The Lost History of Flat Earth.
There you go.
And you just Google it or YouTube search it, and it's 6 hours of mind-blowing fuckery.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. When you watch that, there's no going back, really. And I was already a believer of all this stuff, and after watching that, like it opened up my mind to a whole nother level. Like I was just like, holy cow! But y'all might hear the kiddo in the background. Honestly.
Well, you gotta let it water or drink.
But as far as where I get a lot of my knowledge was from that. The Lost History of Flat Earth was the beginning, and it was addictive once you started watching it. But I got the Iron Republic is a book by C.J. Austin, talks about a guy, E.W. Barrington, that went from, I think, Florida, and then he went to the ice wall and found an opening. He called it the Barrington Strait after himself, but he went through it, traveled for months, and then found more land. So
Nice.
The land was about as far from the ice wall as we are from the ice wall. So it's just in the opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 1890s.
I think it was, yeah.
And there's pictures of his boat on the return. He said all the evidence was on the boat to prove what he was saying if you wanted to see it. So people saw it back then. They just covered it up. They don't want us going there.
No. And so like if you try to go there now, like there's two different lines. I think it's the 60th and what's the other? The 60th parallel and the 80th.
I think it's the 80th.
So the first thing that you'll run into is a constant Navy patrol, which they'll warn you that you're in maritime water and you'll be forced to turn around and go back. And if by chance you make it through that, guys, then you'll run into the icebreakers, which is I think the Royal Navy, and they patrol closest to Antarctica. And if by chance you get through those things, there's a 200-foot wall that you got to get up.
Yeah.
No, there's no easy way in.
No, absolutely not. And they went around until they found an opening, and there wasn't. I think they call it the Summers Gate, and it's only really easy accessible during the summer because that's when it's like -4. I mean, that's the best you're going to get is -4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah.
-4. Oh my gosh. I'd like to ask Eric, because I don't know what started your journey through all this.
There was some flat earthers coming across my page because I'm a person that if somebody's talking smart, and I mean intelligently, I'm going to listen, even if I disagree. And by watching those pages enough, it kept popping up and popping up and popping up. This it was Dare to Know, Derek. I don't know if you all know him, but him and Caleb got a podcast. If you're familiar with Caleb, and but anyway, I was getting tired. I was getting tired of seeing his page, come across my screen. and I was sick of hearing it. And I called him out, and he responded kindly with a video and said, "Well, prove this, bitch," basically. And I looked into it with an open mind. That's all you got to do. And if you look at it with an open mind, you may not believe everything 100%, but you're gonna start looking. And that's what made me look. And then I saw pictures of the clouds behind the sun,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, how could that be possible with a sun that's 93 million miles away? And then it was just one thing after another. I mean, level water, just all these things are just painfully obvious, planes not adjusting for curvature. Once they start bringing these things up, it's impossible to unsee it. That was me.
Yeah. What we got going on?
Hey, what's up, Mingus? That's the guy that wrote Crawley album.
Oh, okay, sweet. What's going on, buddy?
That's Chuck. The music you hear in the beginning was written by Chuck, and I just added the vocals to it. But we did that back in 2011.
Sweet.
It's a lot of fun.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that music from the other channel you got. That music's pretty nice, dude.
It was a good album, man. It was just released in 2011 when there was no real chance for making it big anymore. Those days are over. Okay, we had a little technical difficulty for a second. 1 second, guys. All right. So let's see who's still in here. Nevada in the house, Christy. Nice to meet you, Christy. Somebody said, what was the books again? It was The Iron Republic by C.J. Austin. And The Lost History of Flat Earth was a YouTube video, 6 hours long, man. And it talks about everything. I mean, old Tartaria, free energy. It talks about the map on the moon that matches up to the lands on our Earth, the shadows on the moon that remain the same. And once you make that into those shadows, you make them green, and the rest of the moon you make blue to where it looks like a planet. It looks exactly like what you would see from the moon from the Earth. Yeah, Caleb's got a delivery, man, of making you feel kind of goofy for believing the spinning ball of water and gravity working on everything except feathers and helium balloons and all that stuff. Flat earthers are not returning to the heliocentric theory after looking at the info. Yeah, I've never had one person I know of that found flat earth that went back. We're getting situated again.
All right.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, man, I have questions still, like you always get the question about the Southern Cross or the rotation of the stars above the sky. In the Northern Hemisphere, they go one way. In the Southern Hemisphere, they go the other. Could be just perspective, but it is a good question, and you always gotta. We're not going to have the answers to everything, guys.
No, you can't. And the biggest thing is you got to question everything. Do a lot of your own research, and because that's what we do. And once you get down into it and start researching your own, you come up with more questions.
That's the way it is, because you're not meant to know it all.
No, if we had the budget that NASA has, then we might be able to answer some more of this stuff for you guys. But like what Adam was saying, does gravity exist?
Well, the function, something exists. It's like the flat earthers will call it density and buoyancy. So the denser the object, if it's heavier than air, it will find its way to the Earth. And we're electric beings.
Yeah.
So with the earth being a negative ground, that's why they call it being grounded. These words all make sense, but
It does.
it's electromagnetism is what it is. It's not gravity. That's my opinion. That's what Nikola Tesla thought too. He thought that electromagnetism plays a huge part in the sun, the moon, and us.
Right.
And that makes sense. And he was probably the smartest man that ever lived that we know of.
Way before his time. I mean, it's almost like he found some older texts, like he found maybe some of the Tartarian stuff and was able to reverse engineer.
Yes, we were talking about this yesterday. That I'm not saying he didn't invent anything, because he was an insane inventor, but some of those things just to come up out of nowhere, like drawings of a helicopter. I mean,
well, he had wireless electricity.
I mean, you stick a light bulb in the ground and it came on. The man was amazing. But
free energy.
If you believe in Tartaria, you believe that those structures had stuff in them that he could have looked at.
Oh,
and he could have reverse engineered it and just made it and updated it, because he was a genius. He was going to take anything he found and made it better. You know what I mean? That was who he was.
And going back to the gravity idea, I heard a guy bring up an interesting point. He was saying that if you look at the oceans, like the oceans at a certain point have so much weight that we can't dive. Like it'll kill us if we go too far down. The pressure's too great. So he was like, you're going to tell me that the same gravity that holds all of the oceans in also hold us down, but yet don't destroy us, but we can go in the ocean and get destroyed. Like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Sure.
My bad. I saw something too, just driving in my car, and this will make you think. Think about this for a second. I was driving in my car. I was looking in front of me, and there was a hill, a depth. It went down, and then back up, and then I can see the hilltops. All that stuff has to align perfectly.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't look like it's even close to being a curve, it's going in all different directions. It's going up and down, but magically, it somehow knows how to turn that all into a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that just, if that doesn't make you go, what the fuck? I mean,
it's really absurd if you think about it.
It is absurd.
And then if you take like an actual, let's say a photograph, and you apply it to the ball, but you rotate the buildings and stuff like upside down, and you're like, okay, people are actually walking upside down. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like that looks retarded.
This one dude,
but yeah, we're gonna believe it though.
One dude said something that was great. He said, if I go out in my backyard and I grab a shovel and I start digging and I keep digging and keep digging and keep digging until I get to China, will I come out head first or feet first? Think about it. At some juncture when you're digging, you magically gotta flip over or you come out feet first.
It's true. You'd have to come out head first.
At what juncture does the dirt start falling on you and stop going the other way?
Once you hit the core.
That's what they say. You get to the core, it goes the other way.
But we got to reach the core that we've never seen before.
We've only dug eight miles deep. They did it in Russia, and they hit something that they could not get through.
Yeah, all the workers quit too. Like they found and heard stuff. Like there's some crazy stories about this hole that they dug, and they all abandoned the project.
What did you hear? Did you hear anything?
They said there was like weird noises and like voices and like
creepy stuff,
guttural growling and things. Like really strange. But
ooh,
who knows?
Like the movie, what's that thing that goes through the sand?
Oh, like Tremors?
Yeah. Shit like that.
I'm gonna get Kevin Bacon out there to take care of it.
But it's when you think about that though, it nothing makes sense without intelligent design. I mean, you cannot have an eyeball by chance. We're too perfect. We're too perfect.
No, you can't.
Every animal adapting to its environment, and then evolution. It went from monkeys, but monkeys still exist.
I've never seen a half and half.
I haven't either. And at what juncture do you change completely into another creature? That's never happened in our history. You may adjust a little bit, you know, but
Mhm.
it's never went from one entity to another. You go from a fish to being a man. I mean, that's ridiculous. And the fact that we believe it is just because they shoved this shit down our throat like a jelly donut when we were 7. You know,
Indoctrination at its finest.
yeah, that's what I call it. Indoctrination camps. That's what I call it.
Let's see what else we got here. You guys are lighting it up.
I've watched static electricity defy gravity. I've watched static electricity also. If you rub a balloon and you put it next to running water, that water will,
Bend around.
yeah. And then globers are like, see? But it's not gravity. That's
It does
static
go around the
electricity.
curve. Well, then maybe we were a giant ball of static electricity. Water does form to a curve.
Hey, I'm down, like I said, but no, I'm a firm believer in true Earth. It's plane. It's a plane, and it's ongoing. And there may be an end, but it is way bigger than what they're telling us. Yeah.
Neil deGrasse. Gosh, I don't even want to get started on that guy.
Oh, so his name's Adam. Alcoholics Adam. Okay, thanks, brother.
Okay, Adam, awesome. But gosh, Neil deGrasse or whatever you want to
Tyson,
call him. Yeah, Tyson boy. He also said that the Earth was not perfectly round; that it had a little bit of bend to it.
Bulge.
Yeah, some bulge on the left.
Pear
right.
shape.
And the reason why we have waves is because it goes like this, and it's smashing our oceans and causing them to wave.
So NASA's lied about every picture.
Yeah, it's
ever?
not the moon. The moon doesn't do it.
One of my big questions was, and I said this a while back in one of my posts, why hasn't one astronaut, just one, while he was out doing his little fucking spacewalk, took his camera and just did a panoramic?
Yeah, why didn't you do
Showed us the moon behind him, showed us the stars, the best images of the sun you could ever imagine. But well, it'll melt the camera.
Yeah, the lens, it'll melt the lens.
But it doesn't melt their thing. Yeah.
No.
Or their suit.
It's specially built.
The one thing I got about the radio, when I said 238,000 miles and they use radio, the guy was like, well, they used the super NASA antenna.
I saw that.
Super.
Yeah, it's super special antenna that has just, the physical nature of delay and everything does not pertain to it.
Yeah, because that would be 238,000 miles. You're probably talking 5 to 10 minutes of delay waiting for the signal to even get here.
Yeah, we're supposed to drive like a rover on Mars. It's like if you push forward, how long do you have to wait until it goes forward? You push forward like maybe tomorrow it'll roll. So I mean, imagine driving that thing. It's got to be a nightmare.
That thing that cost $35 million was a Volkswagen or Jeep frame or something, and they put lawn chairs in the motherfucker. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They put lawn chairs in like this little dish that probably cost $17.
Foil and duct tape.
It's pathetic.
Cardboard.
It's pathetic.
Let's see.
What's up, Maybo? All right.
Oh, his real name is Jerry. He was talking to Adam. Our bad. Gotcha, alcoholic.
Oh,
Jerry it is.
I did watch one interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson that was actually cool. It showed him talking about where he started. He was actually at whatever school, Harvard, and all the people were in meetings and everything was going on, and nobody was available to do this physics talk with whoever at NASA. And he was available, and that's how he got his start, was just being lucky enough to be available. And he said he was the first black man that he knew of, and I couldn't argue, that got a role like that without it being related to something with the black community. It was like, he says, this was unrelated to the black community, and I got asked to be the expert. And it was neat. I have to give him credit. It was a neat interview, but all those other shit, man. He's now saying that you don't see the curve of the earth from 2 millimeters above the ball. Did you see that where he had a beach ball? And he says that shit is flat.
Oh, yeah.
So they're covering their own ass is what they're doing.
Yeah, they do a lot of backpedaling and they come up with new theories. And what they really meant was this. And My thing is they talk about, well, all the towers we use. If you ask anyone, well, how do towers work? Well, in line of sight. Like, okay, that's cool. Line of sight. So you should never be able to send a radio signal from New York to England, right?
No
Because
way.
there's like thousands of miles of curvature at that point. But somehow they did.
It's because it's all cables under the ground. It's the way we communicate and stuff. But what you're saying is it was flat, so it can send a signal.
Yeah.
I watched them do laser technology from like 20 miles across the river, and that was neat. Let's see what's going on.
The rover is in a place called Dover Island. If y'all go and look that up, that's where all the Mars stuff happens.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
All it takes is a little bit of video editing,
coloration.
Yep, and you're good. You turn Dover Island into a whole other planet.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the stuff they expect us to believe when you have pictures from the moon showing two shadows, like shadows going one way and shadows going the other way.
Yeah.
Well, if the sun is the source, the shadows would all be in one direction.
Sure.
You wouldn't have a rock casting a shadow this way and the human casting a shadow that way.
No, you shouldn't.
But there was. So they had artificial light. It was a fucking set.
Stage lights.
It was a
do that
set.
too. Now, stage lights shoot shadows all over the place.
And the one dude said something on my post the other day. He goes, yeah, that one dude, the cameraman's still up there waiting for him to come back and get him.
Videotape him taking off. Like, well, I guess I'm stuck here.
Yeah, it went up, it followed it. Come on, guys, you do better.
And yeah, another thing, the eclipse, that happens. Everybody was like, well, why is there only a 70-mile
shadow?
Yeah, shadow of totality. What do you want to call it?
But
Totality or whatever.
Yeah, the shadow is never smaller than the object.
No, and this is one thing anybody can go out and test.
Yeah.
Try and make a shadow smaller than your object.
You can't do it. It's
I've never seen it.
It's a proof that the moon is about 70 miles. Mm-hmm. That's what they claim. The sun is about the same.
It'd have to be in order for it to the eclipse to happen.
Yeah, it's not 400 times bigger and 400 times further away. I think of the odds of something like that. I mean, people are ridiculous when they.
It's magic.
It's
so perfect.
But you can't. It's easier to fool someone than it is to convince them they've been fooled.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Everything has to rotate at the exact same speed, the exact same time. The moon rotates at such a speed that you never see the backside of it because it's in sync with Earth, so that every time you look at it, it's always showing the same side. I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah, you got to be 7 to believe that. I mean, it's all impossible. Most of that stuff is impossible to believe.
Unicorns. I don't know, Adam. I don't know about unicorns, man. But here's the
unicorn's a rhino, dude.
That's a fat yeah, it's a fat unicorn.
Yeah, there was a particular kind of rhino. The Bible, when it talked about the unicorn, it was talking about a rhino. It was a particular type of rhino. It has the one horn. It's a unicorn.
Well, here's the thing about mythological
it's not a horse
and stuff is there's got to be some truth to it.
Sure,
somehow, right? I mean that's a lot of creativity going on back then to not have something to reference.
Yeah, well, if you look, like we're talking about the Tartarian society, if you look at how advanced they were, I mean, way more advanced than we are in building. So why wouldn't their technology be more advanced? It probably was. We're at the stage now to where we can put a fucking ear on a mouse, or a human ear can grow on a mouse.
Yeah, right.
You've seen some of the videos of those creatures that they've made that look like a cross between a monkey and. So if we're doing that now, who's to say they weren't doing that shit back then? And there was the horse, the centaur, the horse with the man body.
Yeah. And
there was all those pictures of the people that had no head and their face was on their chest. Mm-hmm. It was odd. It was creepy looking.
Yeah,
but it was all over the world. I didn't say globe this time.
Good thing.
I can't. It's hard.
Or all around.
It's a hard habit to break. It is.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you look at it. We've spent 30 plus years saying things a certain way.
Oh God.
So they're like, oh, you flat Earth guys. See, you still say all around and on the globe and all that stuff.
Well, the argument that the Earth is round isn't an argument because it is round. It is round. Round and spherical are two different things.
Correct.
The round is the ring around it, the circle of the Earth, like they talk about in the Bible. It didn't say the sphere of the Earth. It said the circle of the Earth on a frame that doesn't move. It says we are able. And at one time, God talked about in the Bible, it talked about keeping the sun and moon from moving.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't talk about stopping the Earth from moving.
No.
So
we are the center of everything.
Yeah, and that's the way it was up until 1500. Ptolemy had it all figured out. Everything worked. And if you look at a compass, that's another thing. Everybody, compass works on a globe. If you look at a compass, it points north like this, right?
Yeah.
On a globe, north, south. It doesn't point. It points out.
Yeah.
And it's away from that. Wherever it's pointing is south.
Yeah.
So it's a flat Earth proof, man. It's not a globe proof, and people don't realize it.
Yeah, they have the whole true north and magnetic north. That gets a little interesting. I forget how they even talked about that. What you got,
Sherry? No, I have not started reading the Bible yet. I'm supposed to get my buddies that passed. He promised me it, but I think his wife's struggling to find it. I'm just going to buy my own. I promised him I would read it front to back. Actually read the Bible, because it's flat Earth has brought me closer to God, than I was, and appreciation of the sun and moon like I haven't had in years, man. Every time I go out, if the sun's out, I'm appreciative. I'm like, or the clear skies, no fucking chemtrails. I'm like, I love the blue sky, man. It make you want to wreck sometimes. It's so beautiful.
You can stare at it like crazy. And
that we don't get to see that like we did when we were children. That was normal when we were children, to have that sky, blue, perfect sky with the white puffy cloud. And for about a month in July, from the 4th of July to around the 4th or 5th of August, it was perfect skies, no chemtrails. I watched every day.
That was beautiful.
And one of my videos got like 120,000 views of just filming the pretty sky, man. And everybody loved it because you don't get to see it anymore.
Wow.
It's all this gray shit and long, skinny clouds that's not clouds.
No, that ain't clouds. There ain't. If a plane leaves it behind and it stays there all day, it isn't normal, just condensation trails.
Fed up, Joe. He says, order a round pizza and see if it makes it glow.
I'll have to ask him. We'll try that. Can you actually make it round, like real round?
In the Bible, it talked about the Earth being like a stamp.
Yeah.
Like the old candle wax stamps.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's the description it gave. And that makes sense.
It does.
It causes, it's not perfect. It's not perfectly flat.
Mountains and everything.
Yeah, but it causes but where people get lost is they think it's all this water is contained inside that, and that's what contains it 100%. No, water is coming from outside of it too. There's water outside of the ice wall, outside of those domes, and that's where these strange creatures come from in the ocean. You're like, where the fuck they come from?
Like the octopus, man.
Yeah, or like the glowing jellyfish that can reproduce its own organ or cells to where it can live endlessly. And you don't think they're studying that thing to figure out how we can do it?
Oh, we got to reverse engineer that.
Absolutely.
That so we can live forever. Let's see. What do we got? What else?
Patriot. What are your thoughts on levitation from Book of Job and the animal with the tail of a cedar tree? I haven't heard this. Brontosaurus. I don't think dinosaurs were real.
No.
I really don't. Personally.
They're not mentioned anywhere else.
No, and they never find a full thing. It's just a bone here and there.
Well, yeah, and you go to the museums and you never actually see the real skeleton. They're all like a plaster replica.
Oh yeah, in the facilities,
yeah, you never see the real.
Well, they say they're so brittle, and they're which, if it was true,
I get it.
That would be right. but it's not true because they've done the science on this, or the whatever you want to call it. The organs would fall out of a brontosaurus.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight.
It was described that it couldn't
stretch.
Yeah, it couldn't physically hold that much weight. But if you look back in history, there is a theory that thousands of years ago there was more oxygen than there is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you had the bigger trees, the bigger fruit, the bigger everything. Giants existed, Titans. It goes all the way up to like the Titans were supposedly 35 to 45 foot tall, man.
That's a big
35 to 45 foot tall.
Could you imagine the
why'd you have to go there? It's all good. Where's the one comment I was seeing? That chick said, love y'all comments and the conversation of hosts. This is beautiful. Well, thank you, beautiful. We appreciate it.
Let's see. We got
it does. And Jerry's saying that dinosaurs are not. Job does describe a massive creature. Yeah, oh yeah. I'm not saying massive. It's just the fairy tales they tell us, man. Jurassic Park shit. They're having fun diverting you away from the fact that we were giants too. But they could describe dragons, man. I mean, big lizards.
I mean, there's been proof of giants all throughout history, and I mean, they have old pictures referencing giants, which they always have to come back and like, no, those are fake, you know. But then you also look at the Smithsonian has been involved for however
and the cover
long.
up.
Yes, like the amount of stuff the Smithsonian would have. You look at all the books and things that the Vatican has that the public's not allowed to see.
The Vatican has more information about our history than anything, anywhere.
I'm like, oh, so you're hiding material that tells us what we really are, where we really came from, what our history really is, and you don't want that getting out because that blows all your theories out of the water.
And it proves the Bible.
Yeah,
that's
not their religion.
Yeah,
but the true religion, the true Bible,
which has been. I'm not only saying altered, but a lot of books have been removed completely, like the Enoch and the Mary Magdalene and all that stuff, Book of Mary Magdalene. So when you question everything, you have to question everything. You can't cherry pick. You can't go, I believe the Bible 100%, but nothing else, because people were in control of the Bible too.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the Bible has a lot of truth to it and a lot of true history. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's been manipulated as well.
Oh, of course.
To control us. That was the reason of religion back in the day, was to keep people under control.
I mean, the Catholic Church was the prominent religion back in the day, and they're the ones that essentially put everything together for us. Like the Bible we have now, or all the books they thought were okay. The other ones, that was the heresy. You know? Council
of Nicaea with Constantine and the Christians back in the day. That he, on his deathbed, basically said he wanted to save his world, so from all the fighting, and just went to the Christian and dumped the pagan. But they kept all the holidays, Jesus's birthday, Yeshua's birthday, December 25th is a pagan holiday. Sunday, the worship day, that's Sunday is a pagan. The Sabbath day was Saturday, man.
Yeah,
it was Saturday. Yeah. There's a lot of information out there like that. You know, the Easter. It's a weird holiday if you look into it. It's fertility. It's all about the god of fertility. Yep. It's creepy.
That's why the eggs are involved.
That's why the eggs are in the rabbit. You know, rabbits are pretty fertile.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see what we get.
Well, even our calendar, like our New Year, if you really think about it, how would you know to celebrate a new year in the middle of winter? I mean, there's nothing that changes that says a new year has begun.
No, the new year is spring.
Yeah.
That's April Fool's, man.
Spring to spring was the actual true year. That's when everything started blooming. You knew it was the new year.
That's New Year.
Yeah. Not January. Get that out of here.
And then you got April Fool's Day. That's what that's all about.
Happy New Year, everybody.
April Fool's, bitches.
I'm going to start getting online then on April Fool's and just saying Happy New Year.
I'm gonna start celebrating whenever the fuck I want.
I'll put Joe Biden's picture next to it, though.
We weren't going to go politics.
Oh, crap.
Damn it. Let's see what we got going in here. Pagan holidays, big facts. It is, man. It was wise to do it to keep peace, and I can see why they did it, but Now when you're looking at all, like he was talking about the calendar, man, I mean, there's 28 day cycles. The moon has it, a woman has it. That was there was 13 constellations, that align with those. That's where astrology comes from. That's where once they backed it back to 12, it throws everything off. You're out of touch with everything.
Yep.
And they put rubber soles on you to keep you from grounding yourself. You're out of touch with nature. You're out of touch. Go walk in your yard every once in a while with your shoes off.
Yes.
Ground yourself.
And that's even a big thing that I've heard a lot, and they actually call it grounding.
Yeah, there's shoes you can buy.
And then they say it can cure like diseases and calm you down, get rid of all your like ADD stuff.
One old man, I say old man, he was in his 60s. I'm almost 50. I can't call him old.
Gosh, you're almost 50.
Shut up. But anyway, he took a copper rod, put it in the ground, ran a wire to conductive tape, and put that around his bed.
No kidding.
And slept. He said he slept like he'd never slept before.
Copper
and
in the ground.
And your head is supposed to go on your pillow facing north. Yeah. Babies do it. They naturally do it. And people keep turning the baby because it's not in the bed right. But you're not putting the bed in the right direction for the baby.
True.
Because the baby is going to naturally point its head to the north.
Now you're having me going upstairs and
looking at that shit, man. Every little bit matters.
Look at my phone, which is north.
You can't use your phone. His phone is our video.
Yeah, I can't.
Let's see if we got anybody in here. What's Sherry say here? I'm going by moon and flowering fruits. Is that your new name? What do you mean? What you mean?
You got to look at the cycles of the moon, and I think when
things flower.
Yeah, when things start to flower. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's new is when it sprouts.
Yeah,
that's the new year. Now you get into when it's fruiting. That would be more not the new year, but it's the I don't know how to explain it, but you see my point. It's when things start to be the start of the new year.
You start seeing all that green stuff coming out of the ground.
That's the beginning of the year, man.
Day one.
And the only way you can beat them with that kind of stuff is to just stop celebrating it their way and celebrate it your way.
It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a big movement to do that.
Yeah, especially with kids and stuff that celebrate Christmas and are used to Christmas. But Jesus' birthday was actually in April. It was supposedly April 3rd. If you look it up, April 3rd, 00. Yeah. So 40300. That is the exact moment that the Georgia Guidestones got hit. 40300. Isn't that ironic?
I didn't know that one.
The dude had it awesome. Right when it struck, and he hit pause, and it was 40300.
That's cool.
So it's 4:03 in the morning or whatever. It was exactly the numbers of Yeshua's birthday. I got to get used to calling him Yeshua too, because
Jesus.
A lot of people say using the Lord's name in vain is saying like God damn it, or saying
God's a title.
Yeah, using the Lord's name in vain would mean making his name worthless. Is what the definition of it would be. And what can make his name more worthless than not even saying it correctly?
Yeah. We've never said it correctly.
We never have. It's been translated to that, but you don't call your Latin friend or Mexican friend George. His name's Jorge.
Yeah. So or sometimes I call him Mexican George.
But you can make fun of him. Hey, George, as a joke. But I mean, it's disrespectful. So if you don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, you should call God Yahweh
or Yeshua
and Yeshua for Jesus. That's what. But it's hard to do. It's hard to change your language. Even Mel Gibson called him Yeshua in the movie. Yeah. He didn't call him Jesus in the Passion of Christ, which was a powerful movie.
Yeah, it was. And I thought it was cool because they used native tongue in that movie too, which was very cool. And they're coming out with a sequel, supposedly.
I can't wait to see it. If he makes it that far, he's too much of a truther, telling the truth about Hollywood that he's lucky to still be around.
Hollywood's knocking on his door for sure.
See what we got going on here. Yes, I agree with Fed up there. Hit the like button, hit the share button, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we get caught up. Forgot, man. Y'all got to subscribe and hit that like button and share it, man. Share this thing.
Yeah, we're trying to get it started. We're going to give this an honest effort. So I'm going to be looking into advertising here in the next week or so. And I've got a little money to put into it just for fun, and see if I can't get us some more reach, because it's not easy on YouTube to get reach, man.
Mm-mm.
Not easy at all. I know people have been doing it years and have 100 followers, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're doing good that we're at almost, what are we at?
We're at 30 right now. 30 subscribers.
So
if you're in our chat list and you're not subscribed, you better go over there and click that button. I'm gonna come find you.
Yeah, we appreciate it big time. Just y'all showing up is great, but we could use your support on the subscribing.
For sure.
But we're going to do live from Rumble one time. Give that a shot. You never know where a lot of these people would rather be on Rumble.
Yeah, we'll also try and take, if I can, like I said, this is the first time really rolling with this. If I can take this live session here and throw it over on Rumble as something that you can watch, later. Obviously, it won't be live at that point, but if I can do it, I will.
Yeah, and I'm going to, go live by myself from home a lot and still do my TikToks, man. It's a blast, and a lot of these people are coming from there.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok's the best social media app ever created. Now, could they be better? Yes, they could be less blocking people and censoring people.
Could be less China.
Yeah. China. But I have gotten more reach on there than I ever did on every other app combined. It gives you the ability, if you stay within their bullshit,
mm-hmm.
you can get
following
some
their rules is kind of stupid sometimes. I get it.
It is, because I never harass anyone, and I've been like,
oh man,
they're harassing me. They're on my page. I'm just calling them out on my page. They're harassing me.
Dude, what happened right before we even went live? Like, that was ridiculous.
Dude, it got terrible.
I cannot get over that for nothing.
I mean, they jumped in. It's like they saw these two flags right here that I don't have at my house. So that's what triggered these people was these two flags.
Oh, how dare we go American and no quarters? Like,
that's where it went. I very rarely talk about politics anymore, but I get a lot of dumbassing from Globers calling me dumb redneck, you go to school, all that shit. But I expect that. But these people are like, I'm reporting your page.
I don't even wear shoes.
Yes, you do. You got shoes on right now.
So I'm in Kentucky, y'all. I don't wear no shoes in there.
This is my wife and my sister. And there was one girl standing there.
Thanks, Ark. Appreciate it, man. I love having the no quarters flag. It's just a warning. That's all it is.
How did the U.S. government not fall? You mean currently? I think it's already fallen in one way. It's all hanging on by a string, man. It's all, what's the word? Facade?
Man, it's facade.
Facade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I know we said we're going to get political.
A little bit. I mean, that's a good question.
Here. Okay. So like my other podcast I do is a heavily political podcast, but there are people that I follow and people that I listen to that are credible, and I get a lot of information from. And there's this one guy, Derek Johnson, ex-military, super smart, can sit there and break down military law and rule and regulations and everything like no one I've ever known before. So his thing is that Trump is still in control. You usually have a title with the president. It's called the commander-in-chief and president. Two very different standings. Commander-in-chief is,
I've heard about this.
Is over the military, president over the country, blah blah blah. Usually one and the same. You don't ever really hear Biden being called commander-in-chief. It's usually just president, and that's because he says that Trump is the commander-in-chief. He's still over the military, and everything that's going on is all in the background right now because people need to wake up and start seeing what's going on, and that Biden's just a pawn, basically.
But then in line with the 19 flags that were behind him, that would make him the 19th actual president, because after a certain point, after the 18th, we became a corporation.
Correct.
And ever since then, these haven't been true presidents. And he would be the 19th. They even had certain ones that had spearheads, which would say we're in not martial law, but in war. You know,
Yeah.
with the stuff that was going on behind him was talking about. And I heard what you're talking about, that he was even asked to run for president by the military. That the military said they were ready to, you know, take the Obama administration down, that they were causing too much, too much treason.
Exactly.
And they said if Trump didn't come in, that they were going to, and he agreed.
And that's the thing. Why a lot of people are like, well, you know, why Trump? Well, because they needed a man that wasn't political, and you need someone who can't be bought. And what better person than Trump? You know, like he loves the country. He's not going to have anyone in the political parties offer him anything he doesn't already have, and so he fits perfectly. And so yeah, the military picked him. Of course, he won.
And then I'm sure you'll see a lot in the comments. Maybe not on here because we don't have a huge following yet, but
yeah,
a lot of people that used to be Trump supporters would say he's necessary evil. That he's what do you call that? The opposed opposition, or
I think I know what you're saying.
A necessary opposition, or something like that, to where to keep us divided. And there are a lot of good points. So it's hard, but I liked him better than any of the other ones, and that's all I do too.
And I think there's a lot of stuff coming here soon that I think everybody's going to start kind of realizing everything that's going down, that's been going on in the background. So if you guys that are listening on here get a chance and have a Telegram account, go on Telegram and follow Rattle Trap 1776. That is Derek Johnson, and he breaks down a lot of the rules and regulations, and he also does a wonderful job of tracking aircraft. Now, he tracks a lot of military aircraft, and he points out a lot of their call signs. Like I've seen in probably last week or so, there's been quite a few planes flying around with the call signs of Gitmo. And we all know where Gitmo is, right?
There's a lot of stuff that could be happening.
Oh, man.
We got a comment here I wanted to address. He says here, if you could go back and be present for any moment in time for whatever reason, what would it be? Oh, goodness. I would have to say, if it's true, the Admiral Byrd flight, I would want to be a fly on the wall or whatever and actually see what he saw. That would be, because a lot of people don't realize that I know there's people that are still adventurers. They go to Antarctica and they go to the North Pole and they do this crazy shit that I don't take any respect away from. These people are badasses, you know?
Yeah, for real.
But he was the last true explorer. He was the last one that had free reign to explore.
Right.
And maybe the greatest explorer of all time, because look at what he found. Supposedly found inner Earth civilization, inner Earth, and he also found South civilization, very advanced civilization. What would be cooler than being a part of that?
That'd be sweet.
I mean, that's like finding aliens. That's what it is.
Basically.
So if I had to be present, I would want to be him. And then there's a story about his son. And his son was like 60 something years old, was trying to talk about his dad again and get his dad because his dad was Richard Byrd was a hero, man. He was a world or nationwide hero. And son didn't live up to that, but he's trying to bring back the legacy of his father. They released the diary. And I read that, which talks about all this stuff. It's not all in the videos that you watch. You got to get the diary if you want to hear some of this. But his son tried to get the word out again. Well, he came up, found him dead in the warehouse. I mean, look it up. He was like all dirty and stuff, like he was a bomb, and he was dead in the warehouse. Yeah, 68 or 60 some years old. So I'm saying what happened, but it was an odd way to find somebody.
It is. And anyone that comes out and speaks truth on that, they don't live very long. It's really coincidental.
Yeah. So we got to keep ourselves in check here.
Well, yeah. So the only way to keep yourself safe is to make sure you have other people that are willing to go along with you. Because if you kill off someone for speaking the truth, that you have a big enough following with them, you're going to know something's up.
I mean, look at what's going on with Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just telling men to be men. And if you're a woman and you want a traditional man, you got to kind of be a traditional woman in ways, you know. I mean, that's how that works. If you want a traditional man, you got to be kind of a traditional woman. And not saying that's what you have, but if that's what you want,
well, yeah,
you know.
I mean, anything that has this whole alpha male look to it sets people off.
Yeah, it's because they want
like it.
weak men.
We all see what those guys look like.
Yeah,
They wear dresses and look like Machine Gun Kelly now.
got the man bun going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not my style, but I'm not saying I'm an alpha. I'm just saying I'm a traditional, you know, I'm old school in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I get raised chickens and got a wood stove and, you know.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Not even a gas stove?
Nope, no gas stove. Biden ain't taking my stove. That's for damn sure.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Sherry was the greatest explorer of all time.
Yeah.
By far. I mean, there were some badasses back in the day, man. Don't get me wrong. Like Gang He from China, Gang Z from China. He did all around the West and East Asia, all the way to the east side of Africa back in the 1490s.
Yeah.
He supposedly was a part of discovering Australia. So don't get me wrong, people like that are badass. But you know, when you look at what Byrd did, he went where no man has ever went before. And that's right after him is when the final frontier started.
Yeah, going up. Like,
everybody, it's up
there's
here.
something up here, guys. Look at that.
Don't look out there. No. Shh. Look at the silly monkey. Look at the silly monkey. Look up here.
Well, yeah. So okay, you have that happen, and then so NASA was formed in
1958.
Okay, 58. The Antarctic Treaty.
1959.
Yep. And then the first man went to the moon in
1963.
Yeah, I think it's three.
No, I'd have to look that up because I still don't believe it. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Went to the moon.
But Admiral Byrd's last journey was 1956.
Mhm.
He died in 1957.
Yep.
NASA was created in 1958.
Yep.
The Antarctic Treaty was signed in 1959.
Mhm.
Don't tell me some crazy shit wasn't going on, people.
And you're going to tell me that soon after
That's
NASA
all
was
coincidence.
formed, they threw someone up in space.
In mid-60s, Star Trek started. All that stuff started. Early 70s, you had Star Wars.
And then leading up to all that, you had Operation Fishbowl, Operation High Jump, Operation Dominic. I think there's something called Dominic.
And there was a Blue Beam, too. Wasn't there? Operation Blue Beam?
Mm-hmm.
The Fishbowl is the good one, though.
Yeah, we put the nukes up.
Yeah, but they're describing it. They're describing the firmament, calling it the fishbowl. I mean, come on, people. How fucking stupid do you have to be to not see that? I mean, they like rubbing your nose in it. They like showing you what they do before they do it. Pardon me.
Astronomic ties.
Let's see what's Sherry saying in here. I so want to believe, but that just couldn't hang in with that. I'm more of a Tartarian flat earth frequency. Find it. Yeah. It gives you hope again and wonder. People don't wonder about them. We have all the answers. As soon as I bring up a topic to a globe person, heliocentric model, I believe in the geocentric model. So if you want to know, it's not a flat earther. I'm a geocentrist. Is what I am. Okay. I'm a true earther.
Mm-hmm.
If I bring up a good point, what's the first thing the heliosexuals do? The heliosexuals immediately ask me another question.
Yeah.
Well, what about this?
Yeah.
And then I'll try to prove that. Oh, well, what about this? Shut up! Stop it! Leave me alone. Go to your own page. Share your own shit. Leave my shit alone. Because I know I'm not convincing you. So why are you here?
You know, I had one guy tell me once, we got into back and forth, and I was like, well, you prove it to me, like prove the whole satellite thing and all that stuff to me. He's like, oh, well, I did trigonometry and proved it. I was like, oh, you did?
Wow, show me.
Yeah, you did trigonometry. Congratulations. He's like, well, what have you done?
It's your burden to bear, not mine. It's your burden of proof.
Common sense. I mean, I have questions. I have a lot of questions that no one seems to give answers to. As soon as I start asking them, like, like, well, why do we still have antennas if we have satellites? If antennas should be obsolete. Or hey, like, well, now you're deflecting. You didn't answer
Why do
my
you have
question.
bad reception on phones
Yeah. And I
if
I
you
was
have
like,
satellites
well,
everywhere?
why do astronauts train in water and not in a vacuum chamber?
Yeah, because that would be the ideal way. If they actually work in a vacuum, it shouldn't be unsafe.
No.
You should be totally able to go into a vacuum.
And everything I've ever done is well, in the military, they say train like you fight. Well, if I'm going to be fighting in water,
Yeah,
I should be training in water,
Yeah.
right? And so I guess if you're going to be
in,
floating around in
space, you should train in a vacuum. Yeah, it only makes sense. And the whole vacuum thing, there's no medium in a vacuum for a jet or a rocket engine to propel against.
something.
There's no matter to push against. It says it pushes against itself to create propulsion. Okay, get in a truck that's in neutral, get in the truck,
Mhm.
the back of the truck, and push on the truck and see if you can get it to fucking move.
A little bit, maybe.
Only if you're on a hill and it just naturally does it. But these people don't think about
You gotta
it.
hang on the back of it, eat some burritos.
It's
and let it
ridiculous.
rip.
You're talking about
Same
combustion. Oops. You're talking about combustion
Yeah.
in a vacuum. And where does the
Lights, camera, action, folks. Exactly. That's all it is, man. It's all a movie.
where's the medium to keep something burning?
It's all a movie.
I mean, none of it makes sense. None, absolutely.
And
none.
even right up there with, Elon's whole shooting a car up in space with the astronaut.
And you remember what he said? I know it's real because it looks so fake. Somebody asked about a Mason. What did they ask?
Right here.
Thoughts on astronaut Mason ties. I think it's like 85 or 90% of all astronauts were Masons. If you see the videos of them with them, or pictures of them like this, they're like this, and then
and always kind of doing like
do the hand
this
signals.
thing, or they got the hand in the open button like this. It's all Masonic or secret society stuff.
And people are questioning, you don't think Masons know how to keep a secret? They know how to keep a secret, man.
I think the biggest question I think I've heard or get is, well, why?
Yeah.
Why would they lie about space? Why would they lie to us about religion? Just why?
$63 million a day is the first thing. Most people will lie for free. They'll lie for free. It's a power thing. It's a control thing. I can make you believe something that it's not true.
Yeah.
But $63 million a day is another good reason. Another good reason would be we found a lot more land out there with resources, and when we fuck this land up and destroy this land, we can go there.
Peasants.
We can go there. You all die here, and we'll go there. There was an island recently, wasn't there? There was a little island where all they went. You think that's the only billionaire that owns an island?
I wonder what they did there.
I don't know, but nobody knew about that island, and that's one island. Now, this water these oceans are huge. None of us have ever explored any of it. None of it.
No.
So all they got to do is put it on a map or put it on a globe and tell you that, and you'll believe it because you've got no way to prove it.
Yeah, we can make up land masses all we want to.
But the other reason was to hide God, to worship the sun. They're sun worshipers. Ask Joe, fed up. They put a Masonic symbol with chemtrails around the moon, or around the I think it was the sun. Yeah, it was the sun.
Yeah.
It was like a big triangle and then an X that marked a spot. I mean, it was, these pilots were rubbing it in, dude. I'll have him share the picture with me, and I'll let you see it. But
nice.
It was pretty wicked. Did anybody say anything in here? Tate and Greta, yeah, she came out again, and when Tate got out, she said something like, "That's what you get." Like when you mess with George Soros and Klaus Schwab's little puppet, That's what you get.
Well, then Greta even staged her own arrest in Germany.
I saw that. That is.
Yeah, that was garbage. She's getting fat.
Sometimes she
She's
looks like
eating
a
good.
boy.
Yeah, she's eating good.
I'm not sure that's not a
or
boy.
him or what, maybe her and Brittany are friends.
Werner von Braun warned us. Good point, man. For those of you not familiar, Werner von Braun was the rocket scientist that created space travel, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a German Nazi that we acquired after World War II and became like the main guy at NASA. Well, when he died, his tombstone has one inscription other than his name, and it's Psalms 19:1. And it talks about the firmament. I mean, I always forget the whole quote, but it basically says, God showeth his handiwork in the firmament. That is the guy that said he went to space saying there's a firmament.
Yeah, basically telling you, no, none of this is real.
What more proof do you need? That was a deathbed confession.
Yeah.
With nobody knowing about it. Because nobody probably looked at his.
He just liked that.
Nobody looked at that before. He probably didn't even go into his damn. He didn't care. But he was like best friends too. Werner von Braun was best friends with Walt Disney. Well, nowadays NASA has more CGI designer techs or whatever you want to call it than Hollywood.
Yeah,
they have more, and they're the biggest producer of helium, the consumer of helium. There's your satellites, bitches.
That's what's wrong with them over there.
Yeah,
they consume all that helium. Oh, well, we can adjust with the pitch on here, right? Or we
Adjust the helium.
But yeah, Werner von Braun was, him and Disney were best friends. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but if you look at the visual, the first image released of Pluto, the planet.
Oh yeah,
you can put Pluto the dog on it. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's got that shadow on.
Yeah, all you got to do is like put the nose. I think you put the black nose on it and something to do with the ears, and it is totally him. So they rub this shit in our noses in movies all the time.
Yeah,
The Matrix, all these movies, Truman Show.
Truman Show was a big one.
Yeah, that was the firmament they were talking about.
Yeah, you ran into the edge of the world.
The back of his boat that he was on was named after one of Columbus's.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was like the Santa Maria or whatever.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, so it was like he was out to discover. Yeah. So, but there was things too that you had to stop the movie and look at the little cup on the table.
I mean,
there was shit like that too that people had paused and found other things.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, man. And there's a V for Vendetta. The one with Rowdy Roddy Piper too that had the glasses where he took it off and he could see, put the glasses on, and it was like obey. It was
there's that movie that came out about taking the balloon.
Oh yeah,
all the way up. And when he did, he broke through, and when he broke through, he went into water. I was like, come on.
Yeah, the whole water's above and below. It's hard to think, but anymore, I believe the Bible more than I believe NASA.
Yeah, Sheree, they're talking about that Tucker clip calling them lizard overlords.
I saw that. He called that. He's talking about Davos people.
Yeah, they were sitting there. That little band was playing, and she's like, "He's lit."
They played it on the Real Patriot Vibe podcast.
How did that?
And it bothered my soul. It reminded me. It reminded me of that. What was that movie with Chris Tucker and Bruce Willis?
Oh, Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
Yes.
The blue alien chick singing. It reminded me of that. But I mean, it hurt my soul, man.
That was so bad. They're like, that's the best that they can get.
Even the people out in the crowd were probably like, what the?
I know. Like, I didn't here for this.
Let's see. Lights, camera, action. Yes, sir. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when did they test this spacesuits in a vacuum? That I'm not sure. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone test anything other than their vehicles in the vacuum chambers.
Well, I saw a dude explode something, like, forget what it was, a can of soda or something.
Mhm.
But when you have that, you have the walls around the thing for it to push against to move.
Oh, yeah.
In a vacuum, that isn't. You can't create the vacuum that exists in space
No.
where there's nothing around. You have to have a container to have that vacuum. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So we can't do a proper test,
No.
but you could do it enough to where you could get in one.
And I think what's funny too,
But you couldn't
is
prove movement.
I'm pretty sure the vacuum chamber was created after they went to space. I think they built it when they came back, so they could tell them what they needed to build. Like, well, this sucked, so let's build this so it doesn't suck when we go back. And I mean, then we don't go back anymore.
Yeah, I don't believe we ever went, never will. There's just no way. We live in a container, man. We live in a container, guys. It's hard to believe for a while, but excuse me. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Oh, what the one guy asked about Buzz Aldrin.
Mm-hmm.
Buzz Aldrin was drunk one night, and he was in an interview.
Yeah.
And was asked about why they never went back to the moon. It was a kid.
Yeah, that's what
And
it
you
was.
could tell he was a little tipsy.
Uh-huh.
And she said, why did you never go back to the moon? And he said, that's a question I should be asking, not a question an 8-year-old should be asking.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but because we didn't go.
Yeah.
His exact
Because we did
words. He said it on Conan O'Brien. You know, when Conan asked him, I remember when I saw you, he said, no, you don't. You know, you watched him. You watched, what did he call it? Theater? Or
I think so.
it was
like
a movie
Yeah.
production.
Yeah, production.
So some people say, well, that means they didn't have the technology to film it. So they had to fake the filming, but they really went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we couldn't show them going, so we had to make
Even though we had video
to reenact what they did.
We had video technology at the time, so there's no reason for you to be able to not be able to film it. There's no reason. So if they fake the filming, they fake the whole thing.
And then the president supposedly made a landline phone call to the moon.
What is this sound I'm hearing?
Oh, it's my air. My heat came on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The president made a phone call.
Oh, well,
to the moon.
But he didn't call them directly. He called Houston.
I call it Houston.
So he was talking to Houston.
The two-way call.
Houston was talking to them via super antenna, like we talked about.
That one thing they built.
Yeah, don't forget about the super antenna. 238,900 miles away.
Yeah.
With no lag, no time restrictions.
No.
He would ask a question, they would immediately respond.
Yeah.
So it was all, and he even had a picture on the wall in the Richard Nixon's office. He had a picture that they took from the moon of Earth. And we hadn't even went there yet.
No, we hadn't even gone.
You can call it computer.
Oh my gosh.
You can call it computer generated images because it was, but that was creepy.
That was,
he's sitting there talking to them. One step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Idiots. And they played us, man. They played us good.
Yeah, they did.
And Jim Carrey on the one thing. Jim Carrey was on Jimmy Kimmel and went off. Was doing the.
Oh yeah, he was going.
And then
nuts.
he was on the one, and he said he was talking about, then then that whole thing about the moon landing. He's like, what a fish story. What a fish. He said, and they bought it. And the guy's laughing, the host, but Jim was serious.
Yeah.
He was like, what a fish story. And they bought it.
Yeah. So gullible.
About time.
Bunch of idiots. Yeah. But guys, let's have old school rotary dial. Yeah, no kidding.
Let's address everybody what's still here. Old school rotary dial. Yeah. That's what it was too. It had the curly cable.
Yeah, I haven't used one of those in 30 years, I don't guess. But Yeah, we're gonna kind of browse through the comments here, guys. We're gonna get ready to start wrapping some things up. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's been awesome chatting with everybody.
Yeah, man, and everybody that came, we appreciate you guys subscribing and following, liking and commenting. It gives us something to talk about. I mean, we make it work, but it's much better when you have interaction sometimes. But we're going to do this pre-recorded as well.
Yeah,
and I'm going to go live. Sometime we'll go live together on TikTok.
Yeah, it's something we got to figure out how to.
Even if we got to do it by the phone, though.
Yeah,
even if we don't have to use our mics, we can just still sit in this setup and go live and hit all. Because, dude, I got a pretty good following nowadays. It's getting pretty good.
Because I get the flag on the main landing. It waved when they first put it up there, though, Chad. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was great. No atmosphere.
Got a little wave going to it. Like, oh, wait a minute. We got to put rods in it on the top and stuff to hold it.
What about when the astronaut fell and he couldn't get up because of the cable? No. He was trying to reach something that he dropped. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he was
he couldn't do it. And then he had that weird little bounce thing when one of them I think did trip or fall. So had some weird little bounce to recover. And it's like
it's pathetic to watch. If you watch that and can't see that it's trickery and fuckery, you're just not paying attention.
No, not at all.
But guys, we're going to go ahead and wind things down. First episode of Two Rednecks and a Microphone.
Yes, sir.
Has been enjoyable. It's great talking to every one of you. We appreciate your chiming in on all this stuff and keeping us entertained, because we're not just entertaining you, you are entertaining us.
Yeah. Again, thanks for chatting with us. And dude, it keeps the conversation going. It's fantastic. We really appreciate it. And we will, I don't know, we'll schedule again here soon.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure out. I think next weekend he's got something going on. But I'm going to go live. I'm going to continue going live a lot more, because they haven't shut me down in a while.
Right.
So I'm going to try to do that. But I did want to end the show with one of the songs again, kind of the way we started it. But I will probably go live tonight after 6 beers. You know me.
Yeah, do it.
Shit.
I'll
do another one.
Back from how you guys thought about the show.
I can talk for hours.
Just rolling.
The screen, y'all said everything sounded good. We don't need to adjust anything, right? But I should have had this ready before, but I did want to hit this. Only take a second.
You're all good, man. All right, guys. We're going to sign out. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see y'all again very, very soon.
Love you. Peace out.
There you go.